So, good morning. I'm Mr. Live and I would like to discuss to you the chain rule. Start from the out and then inner. You will start with the outer. Consider the following: f of x equals 3x squared minus 2x plus 4 raised to the power of 2 and y equals sine 2x. Now, we know that derivative of the power rule is i-multiply natin, then magsasubtract tayo ng 1. Derivative also of sine 2x is equals to cosine 2x. Now, the question, yun lang ba ang derivative ng sine 2x? Or meron? Yes, meron pa. And that is the purpose of the chain rule. So, when we have this one, 3x squared minus 2x plus 4 raised to the power of 2, this is not equal to this one, na ito lang ang kukunin. Kasi itong sa loob, hindi pa natin nakunan ng derivative. Since the power rule is not sufficient for us to look for the derivative of this, instead, kailangan nating lahat na ating titingnan. So, how to do that one? There are two ways. Possibly, you can expand this one. This is 9x to the 4th plus 4x squared plus 16 minus 12x cubed plus 24x squared minus 16x. Yun. Yun yung ating ano. Then, kukunin natin ang derivative. The derivative is 36x cubed minus 36x squared plus 56x minus 16. And then, yun na yung ating derivative. Pwedeng ganon. Simplify natin. But what is the easiest way? So, the easiest way is simply look for the derivative of using the power rule and then multiply it to the derivative of what's inside. So, that means we have 2 times 1, which is 2. And then, we copy. And then, 2 minus 1 is 1. Then, the derivative of the inner is 6x minus 2 as a multiplier of this power rule. That means, you will get, of course, 2 times 6x minus 2, or that is 12x minus 4, times 3x squared minus 2x plus 4, or you will get 36x cubed minus 36x squared plus 56x minus 16. So, yun po yung ating final answer, in which kailangan natin kukunin ang derivative ng nasa labas. If meron siyang exponent, use power rule. What if kung sine 2x? So, alam natin na ang derivative ng sine 2x ay cosine 2x. Therefore, kukunin pa natin pala itong derivative ng nasa 2x. That means, that is 2 times cosine 2x. So, this is it. But if you're going to use the trigonometric identity for sine cos plus cosine, that is the sum of the sine A plus B, that is sine A cos B plus sine B cos A, yun yung ating a trigonometric sum. If we have sine 2x, that is sine x cos x plus sine x cos x, or you get 2 sine x cos x, which is equal to the product rule. So, copy derivative, which is negative sign, derivative, that is 2 cos, times copy. Okay? So, you've got negative sine squared x and cosine squared x. And we know that this is cos minus sine. We know that cosine A minus B is cosine A cos B plus sine A sine B. And if we have cos A minus B, you've got cos A cos B plus sine A sine B. So, it means yung cos x minus sine x, it means this is from cos x plus x. Because ang opposite nung sine. Example, kung minus, it means addition. Yung ating nasa loob ng cosine. So, it means it becomes cosine 2x, which is equal to 2 times cosine 2x, which is mas mas medyo mahirap. But if you're going to find the derivative, then that is 2 times cosine 2x. Oh, perfect. That is it. And that is the chain rule. The chain rule is somewhat like a composition of functions in which unahin talaga natin ang nasa labas, then papasok. Let f be a function differentiable at c and let g be a function differentiable at f of c. Then the composition g of c is differentiable at c, and the derivative of g circle f of c is the derivative of g f of c times the derivative of f of c. Ang ibig sabihin nito, kukunin natin yung derivative ng nasa labas times the derivative ng nasa loob. Or in other words, we have dy dx is equals to, we let u as equal to the f of c, yung ating function nasa loob. And then, yung nasa loob is u, yung du dx, kunin natin as a multiplier of the dy du. Itong dy du ang nasa labas. Ang du dx ang nasa loob. So, in other words, the composition of function is the derivative of the outer evaluated at the inner times the derivative of the inner function. Example, this one. So, let u natin itong 3x squared minus 2x plus 4. So, let u. So, it means ito ay magiging u squared. Yan. And we know that u is equals to 3x squared minus 2x. Ang nakalagay din kasi doon is dy du. That means the derivative in terms of u, which is ito. Kasi in terms of u ito, which is 2u. The derivative of this, 2u. And du dx, that means yung in terms of x, which is, nakadefine siya as a function of u. So, you got 3x squared minus 2x plus 4. Anong derivative nito? 6x minus 2. Ayun siya. Then, meron tayong 2u times 6x minus 2. Alam natin na ang u ay equivalent sa 3x squared minus 2x plus 4. That means, isusulat natin, which is equivalent to 2 times 3x squared minus 6x plus 4 times the 6x minus 2. And then we simplify. Or simply, just look at what is the exponent. 2 times 1, then copy, then derivative of the inner. And that is 36x cubed minus 36x squared plus 56x minus 16. So the same answer but different solution, and then you will arrive the same. Which is better for you? You have another is y equals sine 2x. So ganun lang po. Cosine 2x, we know that this is sine u, and you know the derivative of sine u is cos u, and u is 2x. We've got cosine 2x times the derivative of u in terms of x, then you've got 2. Or simply, ang derivative ng sine 2x ay cosine 2x, derivative ng 2x ay 2. Okay, that's it. How about this one? If we find dz over dy if z equals 4 over a squared minus y squared raised to the power of 2, where a is a real number. That means ang a dito is constant. To do that one, remember na in terms of z. So, kung magamit tayo ng ating quotient rule, medyo matagal. And alam natin na ang 4 sa taas, ang derivative niyan ay 0. So, kung magamit tayo ng low d high minus high d low, okay lang din over low squared. Pero mas better kung gagamitan natin siya na itong dito sa denominator ay magiging negative na sa taas. So, that is equivalent to 4 times this one that is negative 2. Kasi kung ito ay ilipat sa taas, that becomes negative. So, ganun pa rin, hindi nag-change ang sa loob, pero ang exponent ay nagiging negative kasi tinaas. Okay. And then, we know that ang ating gagamitin dito is yung power rule. Una, yung sa labas. So, negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Then, negative 2 minus 1, negative 3. Then, copy. Yan, ang una. Second derivative nito, we know that this is in terms of y. Ang a squared natin is a constant. So, mag-0 na ito. Yeah, because there is no y in here. Then, this one, negative 2y, yung kanyang derivative dito. Kasi 2 times 1, 2 minus 1, that is negative 2y. So, this is the derivative. And then, we multiply that is 16y, a squared minus y squared raised to the power of negative 3. Then, ibalik na natin sa baba, and that becomes positive. So, you will get 16y over the cube of a squared minus y squared. So, okay na? Next, the general power rule actually is the chain rule. They are related actually. We know that dy dx in terms of y, we derive in terms of x. So, una, in terms of u, and then in terms of x ang ating u. And then, titingnan natin, kinukuha natin yung exponent, then minus ng 1, then ang kinukuha natin yung derivative ng u dito sa loob. Or, if we have n and u is f of x, then f of x raised to the power of n minus 1, then the derivative of f of x. Okay? Meaning, nasa labas, then nasa loob. Okay, that is the general. Example, what's your answer here? Ding, ding, ding. Okay, so the answer for this is, ang mangyayari ay ito ay magiging 5, and then 3x squared plus 4x minus 5 raised to the power of 4, and then times 6x, kasi 6 na ito, 6x plus 4. Ayun na yung ating derivative. Okay? How about dy dx where y equals? So, ito ay 1/2 kasi square root. That is 1/2. Okay. So, it means magiging 1/2 of copy and then yung 1/2 minusan ng 1 times yung derivative ng nasa loob which is 9x squared plus 4. And then, multiply. Ibalik natin sa baba ang 1/2 maging square root. And then yung 2, ito dito ay nandito na sa baba. And then ito, since this is positive, ang exponent na 1, nasa taas pa rin. That is 9x squared plus 4. Okay, that's it. How about with this, sine 3x raised to the power of 2? Yeah, very simple. 2 times 1 cosine of 3x times 3. So that becomes 2 times sine 3x raised to the power of 1 times the derivative of sine 3x is cosine 3x. And the derivative of 3x is 3. That is 3. So, titingnan natin ha. Derivative of nasa labas, then sa loob, yeah, cosine. And then itong, nasa loob pa talaga. Okay, that is 3x. How about this one? Differentiate 3x squared minus 5. So, this is 3 times 1, that is 3, minus 1. So, 3x squared minus 5 raised to the power of 2, times the derivative of nasa loob, which is 6x. Ayun na siya. That is 18x times 3x squared minus 5 raised to the power of 2. Next, consider the function y equals 3u squared plus 4u and u equals x squared plus 5. So, it means, itong dito, this is a composition of function. Find dy dx. So, ito ay mas easier. Bakit? Kasi ang y ay naka in terms of u, ang u naka in terms of x. So, pwede natin gamit yung dy dx is equals dy du times du dx. Ang ibig sabihin nun, kukunin natin ang dy in terms of u, which is 6u plus 4. Yan siya. Derivative ng u in terms of x, which is 2x. And then, gagamitin na natin ito. What is dy du? 6u plus 4. Yan siya. Sulat. dy dx, that is 2x. Sulat. And then, what is the u? Kasi hindi po pwedeng may u pa dito. One variable lang po ang atin in terms of x. Ang final. That means you've got x squared plus 5. And that is x squared plus 5 times 6 plus 4 times 2x. You've got 12x squared plus 68x. Clear? Okay, clear. Now, let's have the exercises. You will get this one, letter A, dy du, du dx, then multiplied, you got dy dx. Same here. Then if you're going to solve for dy dx, simplify the result. You have 5 times 2x minus 2 times the power 4 times 3 times 6. So, ang ating gagawin ha ay copy derivative plus derivative copy. Ayun lang. Ito naman, pwede natin sabihin na low d high minus high d low over low squared. Pero unahin muna natin yung sa labas. Okay? Then, you have x square root of 4 minus x squared. There are two ways. Pwede natin ipasa kung x, that becomes 4x squared minus x to the 4th. Pwede. Or pwede rin din natin siyang i-product rule, which is copy derivative plus derivative copy. Okay? Ito naman, number 3, find the derivatives of the following sine x squared. So, the derivative is, of course, 2. Alam natin ang sine x squared is equivalent to the square of sine x or sine x close quantity squared sa labas. That is their equivalent. And we know that this is equivalent also to the derivative of sine x, that is cosine x. So, mag-u ka na lang sa x squared. Mas maganda pa. This is sine u. Okay. Cosine u du. Dy du. Yung u is 2. Madali lang. And this one, okay lang din. Ito, okay lang din. Ito, third derivative, third or pangatlo. So, that's all for your activity. Good luck. Find the first and second derivative of the following. ye to the power of cosine x. Ang derivative ng ating e to the u ay eu pa rin. Pero ang derivative ng du dx ay negative sine x. So, pwede na yan. This one, where a is constant and b is constant. So, madali lang din ito. Derivative of ax plus b is a. Why? Because derivative of x is 1. And this one is 0. Okay. So, gamitin na ang power rule and then sa loob. Madali lang din. This one is product rule. Copy derivative plus derivative copy. This one is product rule pa rin. Ito ay sum. Madali lang din. Ito ay, pwede nating ilipat itong 3 plus e to the t doon sa taas. That becomes 3 plus e to the t raised to the power of negative 1. Pero mag plus 1 man siya, so mag 0. That is very bad. Ano ang gagawin natin? We know that the ln, pwede natin gamitin yan. Dapat talaga mag-low the high minus high the low talaga itong letter F. Wala tayong other option. This one is sine x cubed plus 1. So, cosine ito, derivative of this. Okay, so gamitin na natin yung general rule ng power rule. Okay, use the table of values to determine the f circle g of x. So, this is x, f of x. And we know that f of x, if x is negative 2, you've got f of x equals 2. If x is equals to 0, you've got f of 0 is negative 2. Okay? Tapos, ang g of x ay, ang g of negative 2 ay negative 1. Okay? Ang g of 0 ay 1. So, kung meron tayong f prime of x of negative, f prime of negative 2 is 1, and f prime of negative 1 ay 0. So, hanapin natin ang f circle g of x. Pag f circle g of x, meaning, kukunin muna natin ang g of x. Na? Ang g of x ay negative 1. Then, f of negative 1. Example, g of negative 2 is negative 1. So, ano ang f of negative 1? 1. So, the answer for this is 1. Very clear. So, show that z, the second order of z plus the first order of z times 4 plus 8z is equals to 0 if z is equals to e to the negative 2x sine 2x plus cosine 2x. Okay, madali lang ito. Why? Because kukunin natin ang first derivative at saka second derivative, then substitute. Then, creates a 0. If f of z equals x to the fourth and g of x equals x cubed, then the first derivative of x is equals 4. And the first derivative of x is 3x squared. The chain rule multiplies derivative to get 12x to the fifth. Pwede ba yun? I-multiply natin, that is 12x to the fifth. Where is the flaw? Saan ang mali? Okay. Sa ating kasi if we have the derivative, the sum of the derivatives is equals to the derivative of the sum. But if you are going to multiply, hindi po pwede na i-multiply lang natin yung derivative. 'Di ba? Sa ating product rule, dapat ang ganito ang pag-derive. Copy derivative plus derivative copy. Hindi pwedeng derivative times derivative. Mali po 'yun. That's why, yun yung reason sa number 11. Hindi talaga sila mag-equal. It's because iba yung product sa number, sa product ng derivative. The product of the derivative is not equal to the product of the function itself. It must be copy derivative times derivative copy. Hindi siya derivative times derivative. That's it. Now we proceed to implicit differentiation.